Hey yo, it's your boy OK. We back with another one. Brand new 2027, 2028, potentially. Infiniti Q50 is coming and it's coming with a manual transmission. But is it going to sell? Let's talk about it. We're going to get into it. Stick around. So, all right, what I just had to do a little bit is kind of just lay out my thoughts and just pretty much just put it all out on paper, just what I was thinking, right? So, let's start with again the most important thing: performance. Performance is what sells cars, right? You can look at a base model of vehicle and look at the top trim. They're going to cost a very different price. There's going to be a large difference in price at MSRP or on the used market. That's just common knowledge. Prime example: you look at say an old Mercedes like a W211 E300 or E350. Look at the price of that compared to a W211 E55 AMG. They look exactly the same. They do all the same things, except one has like what a six-cylinder piece of shit. The other one has a 5.4 liter supercharged V8, the compressor. There's a reason why they cost so. There's a reason why one costs so much more than the other. Performance. Performance is again what holds values. It's what sells cars. So again, let's start here. What I have right here is just again just a breakdown of just where my head was at when it came to this, right? And it's like I'm thinking, let's start with the silver SQ50. Now that would be the silver sport or the sport, right? Now let's just get it over with. What's it gonna have to cost? It's most likely gonna have to start at 50,000. It starts at 50,000. I get it. It's like who's trying to pay $50,000 for an Infinity? It's a Nissan. Blah blah blah. Get over it. It just is what it is. It's gonna have to cost money if you want them to make a good car. It's gonna have to cost money. So what's the first thing this car's gonna need before even getting into what the Silver S is gonna start with? Let's just look at what a Q50 or a Q60 should come with. It should have the luxury seating. It should have the heated and cooled front and rear seats. It should have massage front and rear. Rear could be optional, but massaging front seats, you gotta have that. In 2025, you're a so-called luxury brand, you gotta have that. Power adjustable seat, power everything, power windows, mirrors, automatic folding mirrors. A little BMW-ish. Add all that. Available full leather interiors, as in top to bottom, everything full interior. Power windows, I already said that, with available shades. Now that's something very luxurious. Like just having shades, half the time people don't even use it. But the fact that the car has shades from factory, it just adds a little like, oh, like what, this might actually be a little, you know. Something else I didn't put here: decent sound deadening and insulation. That's something that's very important, and it definitely gives off a luxury feel to your vehicle. Like when you close the door and you roll up the windows, all the volume of the outside world just instantly just lowers. Like you can it's like you almost cut yourself off from the world just a little bit when you roll the windows up, close all the doors. Just that good insulation. Soft closed doors, power trunks, hood struts with dampers, so it's like the gas struts on the hood. So it's like when you open the hood, you don't have to hold it open. There's no little bar to their strut to keep it up, or there's no little bar to support it or anything like that. It's gas struts that help just keep it up. Power trunk, both opening and closing, with soft close. And have the infotainment. Make a decent infotainment, but honestly, most people in this day and age, they're just gonna hook it up to their phone. The person that can afford to buy the so-called 2027 or 2028 hypothetical Q50, Q60, or Q50, Q60 replacement, they'll most likely have an iPhone or an Android. Just have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Just make it very just well integrated and just easy to use. Don't do too much just like that. What's the super CarPlay or the CarPlay Plus, whatever it is? Don't add that. That CarPlay that's being is being, how you say, like, beta tested or demoed in the Aston Martins. Don't use that. Just use regular CarPlay, right? Now this is across the board for all Q50s. Let's just keep it Q50 in this video. So we're talking about the four-door sedan. Now let's again switch speeds and let's go back to what I was talking about with the Silver S, quote unquote. So what would the Silver S or Q50 Sport need to come with? It needs to come with the 3.6 liter V6 like in a G37, but completely revised. Honestly, just sharing displacement. It needs to be completely revised from top to bottom. I'm talking new long block, everything new, top to bottom. The block itself, so the short block, that has to be everything changed out. All the internals, stronger rods, pistons, everything, crank, all of it. It all needs to be updated, right? And then the heads, completely new heads, and all of this costs money. It costs a lot of money. But yeah, completely new heads and just high flowing heads. Obviously, dual overhead cam. It's just the best way to do it. Axe Coyotes. Now, why do I say it needs to be a mixture of the G37 as well as the VR30 and the Q50? Is because in that revised 3.6, it should be a twin turbo. Now, the twin turbo is what we're going to use to add torque to this equation, right? So, what I picture in my head with the way the car community is and just the climate of the car industry is right now, what the Silver S or entry level sport trim of the up and coming Q50, what that needs to do is outclass, out muscle, out power, out everything the outgoing Red Sport. So the outgoing Red Sport shouldn't be able to keep up with this new Silver Sport or Silver S. That's for starters, right? And I'm talking, this thing needs to make well over 400 horsepower and over 400 pound-feet of torque. Obviously, at the flywheel. I wish we could do wheel horsepower like BMW and those cheating. Anyway, let's just keep it flywheel horsepower. What this thing needs, at least make 440 horsepower, 420-ish pound-feet of torque. That would be something that I would deem acceptable because we already know these newer cars that they get heavier and heavier every generation. And what scares me is if somebody were to see this and say, you know what, let's make it make power like that, but instead let's add hybrid technology, which is just a complete opposite of exactly what the car needs, where it's like you're adding 1,000 pounds of weight just to add 50 horsepower that you could have got from turbos. And the VR30 already has turbos. So it's like, you don't want to you don't want to be counterintuitive by adding the hybrid complexity and just all this nonsense. It just makes the car harder to maintain, and that's a big thing. Especially what I believe about JDM cars, and you may not think, oh, what do you know about JDM cars? Something I firmly believe about JDM cars, they have to be something that you can work on in your own garage. Now, Q50s already aren't something that you can work on in your own garage. To add downpipes, it's like you damn near got to drop the whole engine. Like you have to drop everything off the front end just to access the turbos because just like a CLS 63S, the turbos sit on the outside of the engine, but they sit low. They bottom mounted right by the suspension, and it's bro, it's death trying to access that. Like no, that's not fun. But I don't think they have to change it because people are already used to it. So they can leave the turbo placement. But how are we going to get the power to the ground? The Q50 Sport with an automatic, right? It should be through a ZF transmission. That's the biggest thing. That's the next biggest thing this car needs. It needs a ZF transmission. These cars can't be, Mercedes 9 speed or CVT, whatever the hell's. Forget all that stuff. Throw it out the window. Burn it, destroy it, kill it with fire again. Get a ZF transmission. Oh, everybody uses ZF because it works. It's better. I don't care. Get a ZF trans. Don't get a 10 speed either. Forget 10 speeds. Get that out of your head. Get a ZF transmission, okay? Now, I'm not saying you need an HP 95 out of a Durango Hellcat. Not yet. But what you do need is something, like it or not, B58 level. You need something M340i level, HP50, HP51 level of transmission, all-wheel drive, permanent all-wheel drive. Now I will switch speeds or switch gears rather and say for the manual, I think the manual would also, or excuse me, the manual Silver S would need a Tremec 6 speed, something like a very good 6 speed. You don't want to do what BMW did where it's like, oh, we put manuals in like the M2, M3, and M4, and it's like an okay manual. Like it's not like like it's not like it's the greatest thing ever made. It's just it happens to have a 6 speed manual. What you guys want to do, put a good 6 speed manual. Like I'm talking TR 6060, like something that's known across the board and revered across the board as a great manual transmission. Now gearing, spacing, and all that type of stuff, that's going to be up to the manufacturer as well as just working with Tremec. But I think that's what they need to do, right? A nice option I think would be something that they should offer from factory: upgraded clutches. And that's for the more spirited driver. They're going to drive the car harder and things of that nature. And I think that needs to come with like a driver's pack, right? So I have it here, the things that are red, right? So these red things I call it like a driver's package. So if you have a silver S, right, and you have a silver S with a quote unquote hypothetical driver's package, now let's see. This thing would come with also open rear differential, so not great. It's not going to come with an LSD in the base model. Standard suspension, all those good things. It's going to be lower than the base car, which is just a regular Q50, whatever the hell. Fully digital dash, fully digital infotainment. And now for the fully digital dash, the number should stop at 160 for a regular silver sport, right? And with this driver's pack, again, the things highlighted in red, with this driver's pack, what should happen is they should be able to move the limiter from 135, which is pretty standard in most cars around this level, a 135 limiter, push that up to 155. Now, obviously, you're thinking in your head, well, with 440 horsepower, just 400 plus horsepower, that's more than enough to do way more than 155. Not that much more, but you do a little bit more than 155 for sure. And it's like, yes, but it's a JDM car, it's coming from Japan. They still have to play fair for the most part. They got to keep it real dialed back. Why? We need this car to be good in the aftermarket. Remember what I said about the car needs to appeal to second and third buyers. Because if you're willing to buy a car after one and two and five people already owned it, and you're still willing to buy that car, you know it's a good car. If one person can own it and that's enough for you to be like, I don't want it no more, it's not that great of a car. But if three people owned it and you still want that car, out of warranty and all these different things, that's a great car. So let's move on. This driver's pack, what does it offer? Raised top speed limiter, black trim, give it a more sporty look. A big thing right here, bigger brakes, right? So in my head, a standard Silver S would come with 4 piston fronts, 2 piston rears. I think a Silver S, the hypothetical Silver S, with a driver's package should come with big 6 piston brakes, almost like getting a RT Scat Pack with a dynamic handling package. And then when you get a Scat Pack and you see them with the 6 pot Brembos in the front, 4 pots in the rear, something like that. Offer that for a Q50. Imagine you see a Q50 with big old 6 pots in the front. It looks more serious. When you see a car with massive brakes, they automatically look more serious because nothing looks weaker than seeing a car with big 19, 20, 21-inch wheels, and then you see these little like 300 millimeter brakes in them, and it's just like, oh, like why? Like, are you sure you're a sports car? Are you sure you're a sports sedan? Like, you know. Now, obviously, you can't have too crazy of a wheel setup on this car. Again, it's the Silver S, it's the base trim. Nothing too crazy. But I think the car should come with a squared setup standard of just 19 by 40 by 255 or something, or 245, whatever. Have a square setup, And then again with that driver's pack, it should have staggered setups where it's like you get bigger wheels, you get bigger rear wheels, you know, an optional valved exhaust where you can, get a little louder, different things like that control the noise of the car. Like really just add a lot of things to just like put things behind a certain type of wall where it's like there's certain things behind here that I really feel like the car needs, and it's certain things that a spirited driver would want. You have to make it worth their while. Like don't just make a package come with badges, colors, and BS. You gotta put some performance behind it. Prime example. What was one of the biggest things with the VR30? You had to, before you even started adding go fast parts like intakes, downpipes. What was it? Upper and lower downpipes? Nonsense. That is crap. I'm glad I never messed with one of those. You got to do, and what was it? Larger heat exchangers. You had to get transmission coolers. All these other different things just before you even started adding the go fast parts. Now imagine from factory you can get a larger heat exchanger than the base car already. So because you got a sport, you're already getting a larger heat exchanger, and then you get an additional auxiliary oil cooler, right? With that driver's package. Again, I have it right here. The red things are the driver's package. You get a driver, you get an additional auxiliary oil cooler. Like that's performance with brakes, tires, you know, we got reliability with auxiliary oil coolers and things of that nature. It's clearly making it, oh, this is worthwhile to the spirited driver because they know that if I get this package, I know that I'm going to have a better performing car and it's going to be more reliable, right? Make it worth their while. Make like you got to make it make sense literally. And also I have uh the sport trim has to, that's another thing about Q50s. They all look the same. I feel like the sport trim, whether it's red sport, silver sport, whatever, needs to have vented fenders. That's another big thing. I don't want this video to be too long, but again, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. So the next thing is that let's go to the red sport, right? So now this is where it actually starts to get interesting. Let's talk about this red sport. All right, so what are we talking about? That same revised 3.6 liter twin turbo V6. So we're just zero point 0.2 liters of displacement off from GTR levels at this point. You will notice that those are GTR numbers that I'm talking about. 550 horsepower, 520 pound-feet of torque. Now this should be the medium output from the red sport version, right? Now, what I'm thinking with this, it has to start at like 67, $68,000, basically 70. You're gonna be like, dog, that's crazy. Who's buying? Like, what person that is into Q50s and Nissans and all this stuff? Who's affording this, right? Money is clearly not the issue because you, me, and everyone else knows that the G80 has come out and that thing could easily be $100,000 with like three options, and everybody still has one. The 2025 came out with the chrome outline on the badge. That's how you know it's a 2025, a real one. It has the M3 competition badge, and there's a chrome outline on the M3 competition badge, right? I've seen that day one when they release, and I'm like, they're already getting 2025s and sixes and whatnot. People have the money, but you know what else? BMW made a great car. It's as simple as that. You can hate the B58 as much as you want. You can hate the S58 as much as you want. BMW made a great car in the M340, M440, M240, and the M2, 3, and 4. They made great cars. It just is what it is. When it comes to six cylinders, that's their bread and butter. So now that's why I'm saying you have to aim for those cars and you just have to try and be better. You like it's okay to make this thing cost money. Why? People have the money when you make a good product. So let's get back to it. What I'm thinking for a Q50 Red Sport, right? A 2027, 28 Q50 Red Sport that's supposedly supposed to go up against like M3s and whatnot. Now, the Silver Sport, you would put that more towards like M340s, M440s. This is going against the big dog. And you'll see that a lot of things are kind of similar. Like the power numbers, 550 horsepower, 520 torque, that's real M3 CS like. ZF8 speed on this one, I'm recommending an HP 70, 76 type level, which is, that's I think F90s, F90 M5s, and I think G30 M550s. They use this, the 75, and the G80s and G82s and whatnot, and G87s. They use the 76, right? So you're gonna need that kind of transmission. And again, you guys know that I follow BMW as well, so you're gonna see a lot of things that might look similar to what you would find in the BMW. But let's get to it. What this red sport would need, follow me. Revised calibration on the engine. So again, this is the medium output, 550 horsepower, 520 torque, larger intakes, turbo inlets, less restricted filter, larger air to water intercoolers, more laminar piping so that the air flows and just a smoother, just the air just flows smoother, and that way it's more manageable for the engine. Because if the air is turbulent, the car can't, it just can't make use of it. Not as much as laminar airflow, right? Stronger fuel pumps, upgraded direct injection, right? So this thing needs to have bigger injectors. I think both of them I said should have hydraulic power steering, both as in the silver as in the red sport. This thing should have magnetic suspension. I'm talking fully upgraded suspension compared to the silver sport. Fully adaptive, stronger ZF transmission with adjustable shift logic. You know, same way as BMW can adjust the shift logic, be able to adjust the shift logic in the red sport. You know, stronger 6-speed manual, or a stronger clutch. The automatic, like the same way I said in the silver sport, that it should come with a available upgraded clutch. This one should have that as standard, and then on top of that, there's an even higher clutch available with the red sports version of the driver's package, right? So again, driver's package is red. But you're probably thinking to yourself, what is black S about? And I'm going to get into that later in the video, so just follow me because I'm not trying to go too far off like 30 minutes with this, right? So what I'm thinking, you got stronger transmissions, lower, better, more adaptive suspension, 180 mile per hour gauge cluster. Again, it's still fully digital. The same gauge cluster that's in the Silver S, but just configured differently because it's all digital. And have with the driver's pack, have the limiter that starts at 165 in the red sport, have that moved up to 180. So using the full dash, right? You should have different badge colors, different grills, black trim standard, and have carbon as optional. Now the brakes, this is where we got a little, we got a little free with the brakes. Now I think this one should come with 6-piston brakes standard in the front, two standard in the rear. Now I think with the driver's pack, they should up it to 8-piston calipers in the front and 4-piston calipers in the rear. I'm talking big brakes, like 390, 400 millimeter type brakes, right? Have vented fenders. All the sport cars, so not sports cars, but all the Q50 sports should have a vented fender, so you could tell them apart from a regular Q50. So now you can't tell the sport trims apart, so there's that. But at least you can tell it's a sport. They got to be functional too, like functional heat extractors. But you'll see the difference between the silver sport, or my idea of what the silver sport should be, and the new red sport, is that it'll have functional heat extractors on the hood as well. And you should be able to get a carbon hood as an option. Wheel setup should be staggered front and rear with 275s out front, 305s in the rear with an optional lightweight wheel package. Performance valve exhaust standard, the larger heat exchanger standard, with an even larger heat exchanger that's available. And again, you'll see that black S. And if you know where that comes from, you'll know where I'm going with this. Auxiliary oil cooler standard, transmission cooler standard, diff cooler standard, power steering cooler standard, additional ventilation for brake cooling, black diffuser, black side skirts, black mirror cats, black spoiler, black splitter, all the trim packages and whatnot, and then be able to have all of them in carbon. Black roof standard, no carbon roof though, not for this car. No carbon roof. But you see where I'm going with this, like, and you see how everything again highlighted red. And what did I say? That's the driver's package. This is the driver's package for the red sport. Now, if you were looking at a regular red sport and it had everything in white standard, you see the driver's package and it comes with so much that it's like, well, you know what? It's not so much additional cooling and whatnot because the car comes with the cooling standard, but it's more weight reduction for the red sport because now you're already serious that you got a red sport, but now we're talking about more weight reduction, lighter wheels. You get all these carbon trim pieces. Just so many different things, plus up on even more upgraded clutch if you get the manual version. Something that I didn't touch on, I almost forgot to mention, the red sport, not the silver sport, should come with the all-wheel drive transmission with available rear-wheel drive at the push of a button, just like BMW. I don't care if you think I'm copying them. Oh well, you gotta have it. You want this car to sell. Like this car is starting at 68,000 hypothetically, and you want this to sell. And let's say the driver's package for this red sport would jack it up to something over 80,000 potentially. You want this thing to sell, it needs all of this. You want somebody to say, I want to buy this Q50 instead of a BMW G80 M3. It needs to have all this. It needs to, right? And this thing's engine, if you come with 550 horsepower from factory, in reality, the engine needs to be able to make 7 to 800 wheel before having to open it up. At least, at the very least. Because the aftermarket is what's going to allow this car to sell. Almost the same as a Mustang. That's why I mentioned Mustangs and Coyotes earlier. That's another car where it's like people don't buy that to leave it stock. They buy it to modify it. The same way with a lot of JDM cars. They buy it to modify it. If it doesn't have a strong aftermarket, it's gonna sit. Nobody's gonna want it. So that's my biggest thing. Now let's get to the last car because again, I don't want to hold you guys up too long, but I did just want to get my ideas just out in the air, just get them out in the ether, and let's maybe the right person sees this, and people can try to just hope to God that Infiniti does they do the right thing. They aim for BMW and try to knock them off their pedestal because BMW is making it real easy right now because they're the top dog right now. They're the ones selling the most cars. They're the ones that they're making the cars to beat while selling the most cars. It's like their cars can do everything and offer more luxury than most other cars on the market. Like earlier today, I just saw a video on Instagram. This guy driving a single turbo M4 and he's just tapping the gas, bullying, like damn near bullying a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. I'm like, bro, all he did was put a single turbo on his G80, obviously with supporting mods, and he's bullying a Lamborghini SVJ. At that point, you need to just you need to just understand, like, you just accept they're the car to beat. Like those M3s, the S58 power cars, they're the car to beat. They offer the most performance for the least amount of money. It is what it is. If you want to deny that, you're delusional. So let's get to the last car. Q50, Q60, Red Sport, Black S package, right? Now, what's this Black S from? The Black S, if you remember, is from that concept a few years back where Infiniti had a Q60 Black S. We're supposed to have like F1 technology, hybrid and electric turbos, and all this nonsense and all this crazy stuff. Never came out, of course. I think they should use the fact that it never came out and implement it into their next car. Make it a trim level, like how you have an M3, an M3 competition, M3 CS, which stands for competition sport. You can have a Q50 Silver S, Q50 Red Sport, Q50 Red Sport, and just call it the Black S package. We can naming the name could get worked on because you don't want to call it Q50 Black S or BS like Black Sport. Like that's not it. But if you just call it a Red Sport with a Black S package, same way BMW. Like if you look at a BMW window sticker for a competition car, it's gonna say competition package on it. Just call it a Q50 Red Sport Black S package or Black S or with Black S package. But anyway, let's get into it, right? Let's call this the high output 3.6 twin turbo. Now, where I'm going with this is I'm thinking 600 plus horsepower, nearly 600 pound-feet of torque, right? Bigger turbo, everything, right? And I'm thinking this thing needs to come with flex fuel capabilities from factory. You have to do something to make somebody say, I want to buy this over a M3, a M3 CS. Forget it. You might as well just go for the top thing. Why would I want to buy an Infiniti Q50 over a BMW M3 CS? That sounds astronomical right now. That sounds asinine right now. But if the Q50 was coming like this, I think people would give it a shot. Now follow me. 3.6 liter twin turbo, right? 600 plus horsepower, 600 pound-feet of torque. Offer an E85 capable version. The same car, like the Dodge Demon and whatnot, how you could just put in ethanol and it has an ethanol reader. Have it jump up to like a 720 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque. Limited just a little bit just for the transmission, but we're gonna get to the transmission. Now, what's going on with the tuning and whatnot? It got to have a black S calibrated tune for the engine, and you should put that on the window sticker. Put that in the description of the car. Like, oh, what's different? It got a black S calibration. You got to make the black S sound like, oh, like maybe this is something I should buy. What's done to the car? It's the same engine. For the black S, they should be upgraded and just be stronger. But for at least the red sport and the silver sport, a base red sport, base silver sport, they need to have the same internals. Look, we can upgrade it for the Black S, but those first two, same internals. Now let's keep going. Larger intakes, larger turbos, all these like just more and more upgrades. Big 4-inch downpipes to 3. I'm talking big downpipes, right? Big downpipes. And it now for stock power, you're gonna say 4-inch downpipe is way too much for a stock downpipe, or just to make 630 horsepower. But if you know, then you know. This car ain't about what it does stock. It's about what it can do in the aftermarket. Better charge pipes for the control of the air while it's going to the intercoolers. Stronger high pressure fuel pumps, stronger low pressure fuel pumps, upgraded lines, rails, DI injectors, upgraded manifolds with PI. So we want port injection on this. Now it's like you got to see, well, why do I want this over a regular red sport? This thing got a completely upgraded fuel system plus port injection, flex fuel sensor from factory, stronger internals, crankshaft, rods, pistons, bearings, higher flowing heads, upgraded camshaft, upgraded valve. Everything is upgraded on the inside, right? Black S tuned power steering, black S tuned suspension, black S tuned HP 95 level transmission, right? So ZF 8-speed again, but HP 95 level. So we're talking Trackhawk, Durango Hellcat type levels, right? Put a Tremec 6-speed in it with an insane clutch. Whatever clutch you want, it just got to be something that can hold 700-800 horsepower. LSD is standard. I think the LSD is standard in the Red Sport as well, but LSD is standard in this car too. Now the difference here, that top speed is going to go up from 180 in the Red Sport to 220 on the dash, right? 220 on the dash. Now it's going to be limited to 190 standard in a Black S, but you get a driver's pack in the Black S, and you can have that bumped up to 205 mile an hour. But let's say that requires the carbon ceramic brakes, and we're going to get to that. Now, all the trim, badges, and everything should be anti-chrome. This should have a fog lamp delete, so there's no fog lamps on this car, nothing like that, for additional cooling. Again, all the trims is carbon. Black roof is standard with an optional carbon fiber roof. Those 8-piston front brakes and 4-piston rears, which is an option for the Red Sport, that's standard on this car. But what the upgrade option would be for this car, carbon ceramics, right? And again, you get carbon ceramics, you get that top speed, kind of like how Audi does with the RS6. You want the higher top speed, you gotta have the carbon brakes. So yeah, we get carbon ceramics all around, 8 piston front, 4 piston rear. I'm talking like 420, 410, 420 millimeter brakes in the front, probably like 380, 390s in the rear. 275 fronts, 305 rears, with optional, and they're already lightweight, but optional ultra lightweight magnesium wheels, kind of like Porsche. Vented fenders with the heat extractors. Um, make the fenders carbon. That could be an option. Carbon fiber hood, standard with heat extractors, of course. Same as a Red Sport, but the carbon hood for the Red Sport would be an option. But a Red Sport Black S package, that'd be standard. Carbon fiber trunk, standard. Black S wing with a free optional carbon low drag spoiler. Or if you want to make the low drag spoiler the standard thing, make the wing an option. However you want, whatever. A Black S heat exchanger. Black S oil cooler, Black S transmission cooler, Black S diff cooler, Black S power steering cooler, and additional coolant for the brakes. I say all that to say, and this is all just hypothetical. Again, me just laying out my thoughts and everything. And how much do I think should start at? 85,000. I would say that's pretty fair, and it undercuts the M3CS severely. Why I didn't say 100,000, which is a lot more realistic for something that offers all of this, is because nobody's buying it at that. Let's just be honest, nobody's buying that car. If all of this and they wanted to say yeah, it's 100,000 for this new Q50, most people are gonna be like, well, I can just get that G80 from 2022 used for like 65,000. Put in like $5,000 worth of modifications to blow the doors off of this thing. So why would I do that? This thing has to start at below 90. It has to start at below 90, if not 90 the most. And with every option, this car shouldn't go over 110. But for 110, if a Q50 had all of this from factory for 110, people would buy it. And that's my main reason. People need to see the value in what it is that they're buying. If you spent 110 on a Q50 today, everyone would laugh at you. You spent 50,000 on a Q50 today, people would laugh at you. But if that Q50 had a build sheet like this, I'm telling you, it's outselling BMW. It'll be a great option to buy as opposed to Mustangs, and Dodge and Camaro don't even exist right now. Like, so Dodge Charger Challengers and Chevy Camaros, they don't exist, right? So we don't know when they're coming back. AMGs, they don't really got nothing besides the GT, and that's about to be discontinued. Like, they like, what does AMG even have? There's no E63. The C63 is a flop. The S63 is just not in the same class as this. So it's like, it's the perfect time to really just aim for BMW, try to knock them off their pedestal, and just really take over. But again, you got to make the car worth the money. The people that are buying these BMWs, they already showed you like, hey, the money is there. We have the money. If it's just up to you to make a good car. You make a good car, something that has a list of parts and products like this, I guarantee you people are going to get behind it. But I don't want to hold you guys up any longer. You guys let me know in the comments if you agree with anything I'm talking about. You think I'm full of shit. You think all this is just a pipe dream. You think they're going to flop. Let me know how you're feeling about this new 2027, 2028 potential Q50 replacement. Other than that, you guys safe up, stay sturdy.